Welcome, everybody, to another edition of this podcast talking about online isolation. We're going to be talking about episode 4. And I think we need to start with the biggest events of episode 4. But first, I want to hear what you guys think the biggest event was of episode 4.
Oh, God. Obviously, Brooklyn and Leonard going to the Void. Would have never guessed that Brooklyn would have shot down to the bottom and then been sent to the Void in the matter of one episode. Just didn't see it coming.
She did have a pretty quick fall.
Yes, she did.
Fall from grace. I think the biggest event of the episode was clearly seeing Lindsay make it to power player. Who was expecting that, right?
That
as much as she kind of oscillates between the very bottom and now she's a power player. Episode 5, she'll probably be back at the bottom, so I'm super excited to, watch that unfold.
Well, I guess we should touch upon the power player group first because that's what got Brooklyn and Leonard sent. The group was very divided. We had Lils wanted Leo out, Wesley wanted Adam and Leo out, Lindsay wanted Adam and Brooklyn to stay, and Kelsey wanted Dee and Leonard to stay.
That power player group was very much dominated by Lils and Wesley. They are kind of controlling the game right now for the most part, I feel.
I don't know. I feel like Lils and Wesley just have the biggest personalities in that tribe. But if you think about it, no one really got what they wanted, right?
Lils wanted Leo gone.
Right. So there was compromise all around, which is why I'm hesitant to say that Lils and Wesley were the ones that called the shots. I think it was a pretty even distribution.
I kind of disagree, but I think Wesley wanted both Brooklyn and Adam out, but he settled on Brooklyn. But that dude's coming hard.
I definitely do think Wesley's... Go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I definitely do think Wesley is... If I had to give anybody kind of the one calling the shots, I do think it could be Wesley. I think he has the potential.
Well, we'll see what happens because he's starting to... At the end of the episode with him kind of talking to Adam, something's brewing there. It's going to be who can take the first shot, and I think that's the next battle we're fixing to see.
Yeah, for sure.
In the power players group, even though it was a very uphill battle, Kelsey did try to save Leo. Did you like her efforts?
No, it obviously didn't work. That was kind of a losing battle, I think. And honestly, she might be the next target.
Yeah, I think Lils was able to suss her out in a matter of seconds, right? She literally said it. She's like, I think Kelsey's sole purpose was to be a plant for Dee and Leo. Lils also said, yes, and she also said that she thinks that Leo is purposely putting people in different groups so that he can have intel, both of which was correct. So
she straight up said that to Kelsey's face in the chat, not mentioning Kelsey whatsoever. But I wrote that down. Lil's talking about Kelsey in the power player group, basically calling her a rat.
Yeah. But what are you saying? So you think that wasn't a smart move on Lil's part, or are you just saying that was ballsy?
It is ballsy, and I think she has so much power right now that she can say it and get away with it. She has, I don't want to call her a puppet master, but she's influencing other people's decisions to the point where, like I said, I think Kelsey might be the next one gone regardless. Nobody's going to put up a fight on that.
I don't agree with that just because if you go back an episode, didn't Lil give this whole spiel about, she said she wanted to protect Lindsay and Kelsey, right? And how she just felt some type of motherly draw for them. So I feel like if anything, her calling Kelsey a rat was just more to prove her point that she thinks that Kelsey is easily manipulated, not that she thinks that Kelsey is some,
Yeah, I
strategic
guess that's a
person,
way of
which she
looking at it.
actually is. So
So Wesley started to talk about Adam, which you brought up a little bit earlier, that he thinks Adam is a threat. He was agreeing with Kelsey when Kelsey was saying that Adam could be a dark horse. Would you agree with both of their assessments about Adam?
Yeah, I kind of moved him up. I have him and D as kind of the dark horses, maybe Treasure. Adam is I think he's got some strategy going on. He's moving up the list, going from non-threats to ending up in is it the power, not the power group, but whatever the middle part of the episode was. Middle, there's middle
Safe.
in danger. Yeah, the safe group. I guess, I don't know. Later on in the episode, but he's definitely moving up for sure.
Yeah. I do agree with their assessment. I've always said that Adam was strategic, but I think what was more interesting about that was the fact that Wesley chose to say it to Adam's face. I get this whole want to be real and I'm gonna tell you to your face, and I think I even kind of have that, but I just felt like, why go to the lengths of saying it to his face?
I think what I said about Lils applies to Wesley also, that they've had this power for quite a while, and maybe it's starting to go to their heads, like they feel they can say whatever they want and will have no backlash from it. So confident you can say what you want and nobody's going to come after you for saying it.
But Wesley just got power, didn't he? This is his first time being a power player.
True.
Is it? Well, he strikes me as somebody who, if he gets power, he's going to wield it. So
he did say he wanted to lead that group, which he tried to do.
Yeah. But I think unlike, okay, so like you're trying to make this parallel between Lils and Wesley. I think that unlike Lils calling out Kelsey being a detrimental thing, I think that Wesley calling out Adam will be detrimental. I think Wesley shot himself in the foot. He didn't have to say all that because Adam literally was like, okay, I guess we're enemies now. So
I mean, sure, you don't want to make a whole ass enemy, I guess, you days.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it personally, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best move in a game. But for a TV perspective, I mean, it's entertaining to watch. So
I just want to put a small little thing. I was the Wesley and Lils of my season. Sometimes I just went a little too, said a little too much. So I can resonate with that 100%.
So going back to Wesley and Lils supposedly dominating this power player group, I want to touch upon Lils for a second because I feel like you guys say she says too much. Do you still think that even if she has this power?
Yeah, and it was, I feel it was kind of obvious when she was in the middle of the pack group with Treasure, Alex, and, well, Delian wasn't there, but it was toned down a little bit, and instead of being powerful and throwing herself around the chat, it was more like she was trying to butter up those that were in the chat with her because she started to slip. So when she's in that power group, she throws it around. She tries to get people to do what she wants. But when she starts slipping, cozy up to people, make sure you're safe so that you can get back up to the top again.
Do you still, I want to give my perspective on this, but I'm going to ask you again first, Days. Do you think, you say she throws things at the wall to see what sticks, do you still think that?
Yeah.
See, my perspective at Lils is not quite that. I just feel like she does talk a lot out loud. I feel like she just tries to talk through her thoughts out loud. At least that's my perspective.
Well, when I say throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, it's more she's trying to build relationships with people. So they've talked about it in the show. I think Lindsay mentioned it, how she just repeats what people have said. I don't know. I'm just completely off on Lils, but I was
You're
Team
ta-
Lils at the beginning, and
You're
I'm not
talking
so
about
much
the
anymore.
moment when Treasure and Lindsay were talking, and was it like, yeah, like Lindsay said that, or Treasure said that, she ate beans and pork, and Lils was like,
Yes.
we hear. But I think that, yeah, so that's her trying to establish like you and I are kind of the same, which I do think could have a little bit of psychology behind it of like, let's find a common ground to like resonate with this person. But I also agree with Nick's assessment that she does talk through her thoughts, and I think that unfortunately there's no sieve in that, so she just says everything. And I think she shot herself in the foot with Alex for sure.
Days is having technical difficulties, but we're going to carry on this conversation about Wesley and Lils for now. What is your thoughts on when Wesley was telling these 6 people that he's going after Lils?
Yeah, so I think I kind of take Wesley and his shit talking moment kind of like my own dad, which is like, when like it's just like when men get around an audience, they just do the most and they put on and they're trying to be funny and entertaining. And I just felt like in that instance he was just kind of doing the most. And I do think, yeah, he wants to ultimately go after Lils, but I think that he exaggerated that just to be shocking and daring and to kind of be comedic. But I mean, if you look at his rating, I feel like that speaks for itself. He's voted Lils a 4 or a 5 even like every episode now. So clearly he's not ready to get rid of her just yet.
Yeah, I
All
do
right, let's
agree
try
with
this
that.
again. Sorry.
We were just talking about Wesley and Lils and their dynamic and how Wesley says he's going after Lils, but they do get along. So ultimately, Q is saying that he does want to get rid of her eventually. But how does that moment come, do you think, Days?
I mean, I'm staying strong on they're working together. I think that whole thing was a facade. I don't really think they're after each other because those two together just dominate in a chat. Like they control the whole thing. So why get each other out right now? How, if it comes to that, I don't know how it will happen. It's going to be dirty. I think it's going to be nasty and fun to watch. But I have, from a strategy point of view, I have no idea how that goes down.
So I want to bring up something you said in the last podcast when you said that Wesley was being fake in the potential power players meeting when he didn't confront Lils about everything that he said and how he wanted to get rid of her. I told y'all that was a strategy. It's not beneficial to him right now to get rid of her. So I think that's why he's giving her these 4s all the time, is because he knows that, yeah. Those two together do dominate. So has your opinion changed?
I do think they are a very dominant duo if they work together continuously.
It's just interesting to me because they don't have communication outside of the chat. So it's weird how they've like come together without actually saying, hey, let's work together. So maybe there's some like psychic energy that Lils is throwing towards Wesley or something. I don't know, but they're definitely working together. I have no doubt about it. And yes, Q, it's all a show. He is fake. It's all strategy. The dude knows what he's doing, and he's playing the ratings game perfectly right now.
I think what's going on between Wesley and Lils is that game recognizes game, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with that. Days, you said you took notes. Is there anything else from the power player group you want to talk about?
No. Talked about Lils calling Kelsey a rat. No, that's it. I mean, I do. No, that's it. That's it for the power group.
Did she say rat verbatim?
Not verbatim.
No, she didn't say rat, but
oh, okay.
That's how I took it.
Right. Okay.
So she was the mole. Maybe not a rat. She was a mole placed there by Leonard.
Right.
So Leo and Brooklyn were the two voted into the void. How do you think that will change the dynamics of the Void? And how do you feel about the first group being 4 of the Void members so far?
I mean, I'm not disappointed that Brooklyn and Leonard are there. Brooklyn is not as good as I thought. Her game is just not up there. I think I gave her too much credit, rated her too high. If somebody comes back from the Void, which they should, I don't think it's going to be her. I don't think it will be Leonard either. I don't have a high opinion of either of them right now.
I think out of the 4 people, Elizabeth, Monet, Brooklyn, and Leonard right now, I think Leonard and Brooklyn have the best chances of getting out of the Void. Elizabeth is just, I mean, look what got her into both Elizabeth and Monet, I think, just in this season are just not, people don't know them, they're not fond of them for whatever reason. So I just don't, I imagine if you got voted into the Void, it's a social game, you're probably going to get voted out of the Void. And I think Brooklyn and Leo have, even though Leo is polarizing, I think they have the best personalities to get out of the Void.
So do we even know how you get out of the Void yet?
You will find out in the next episode.
Okay. Because that was one of my questions, is strategy of how to get out of the Void. So, I mean, it was kind of a depressing chat. Like, I don't even want to revisit it. Everybody was sad and dreary. So I don't know who I want to come back. I kind of want to see Monet come back because I want to actually see her play the game. But I don't know.
I think I stand by my original assessment, which is that I think she would have more power and be more interesting if she operated within the Void, whatever power the Void is going to have, because as it gets larger, it grows in power. I think that she could do really well in the Void, but I think bringing her out, no one really knows her, and I just don't see that really working out. But I do think that I'm going back to Wesley's point. I don't think that it was smart to send Leo and Brooklyn in together, because Leo loves him some Brooklyn.
He does.
So I don't think that was smart at all.
Do you think you might know how they get out? Like, do you think the Void votes on themselves, or the players outside of the Void vote on them to come back? Or
I think it's going to be, Nick's not going to tell us, but I think it's going to be the same way you got in the Void, as in you had to vote on threat level and likability. I think they're going to do the same thing within the Void and vote among themselves on threat level and likability and those types of.
If that's the case, if I was in the Void, I'd be voting everybody once and hope that I get a higher score if that's the case.
Well, Leo's pretty good at that.
Yeah. We know Leo's going to give Monet a 1. Monet's going to give Leo a 1. We can just see that now.
I want to talk hypothetically speaking if these people were to get out of the Void. So let's talk about Monet first. If Monet gets out of the Void in this next episode, what is the first thing she should do? Q.
The first thing she should do is not be working and turn on her charm that I know she has as a Gemini. And she really needs to network and get people to know her and like her and trust her, because right now her reputation is that she's disconnected and nobody has any, they call her Moani, so they don't even know her name. So she should start there with my name is Monet and then work from the top.
Days.
First thing she needs to do is pick up the phone and call into work that day. Hey boss, I'm sick. I can't come to work. Other than that, she has so much work to do if she gets out of the Void. If she gets out, it's almost 100% that she goes right back into it.
Yep.
We'll touch upon Elizabeth next. She does have a personality. So if she gets out of the Void, how is that going to go, Dazed?
You know, Elizabeth is growing on me a little bit. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing her get out of the Void. Again, like Monet, she has a lot of work to do. I don't think anybody really trusts her. I don't know. I don't see a path for her or Monet to get past a next episode. I think they both just go right back.
I agree. I think that Elizabeth has less work than Monet because I do think she's got some solid connections, but I don't know to what extent Adam like gaslit her about the fact that she turned on her alliance. So depending on who all knows what she's done, they're probably going to think she's phony and vote her right back into the void. So
Which is
Elizabeth
ironic
is going
because
to be
everybody is phony right now.
I know. So I think Elizabeth is just like Monet. She's going to be operating within the void and fucking it up there, living her best life.
If Elizabeth does get back, do you think there's anybody in the game that would work with her? Since, that alliance is basically in the void other than Kelsey.
Looking at the list, I mean, no.
I think Dee Dee said that she liked her. I think Dee Dee
True.
would work. But I mean, what does that say? Because Dee Dee is like also sometimes in the bottom, so I don't think that means that much. But Dee Dee would probably work with her. I think Delion could. I think Alex could. I think there are these like middle of the pack-ish players that could work with her.
Do you really want to tie yourself to somebody that just got out of the void, though? Is that necessarily a good
question.
game decision? I mean, it's a sunken ship raising back up. I mean, it's just going to sink again.
I think it
You
would
wanna go down
depend
with it?
your spot in the game. Like, if you're not feeling very good about your spot, then I don't see why not.
I don't know that I see any harm in working with someone that's been to the void. I don't see being in the void as like a scarlet letter. I think you can just join back in and hope to have people who want to work with you. But I don't think it's anything negative to work with someone from the void.
I'll say one thing for either of them. If they get back in, and this is an issue that I'm having with a lot of the players right now that are not rating how I think they should. If they get back into the game, they have to vote everybody down.
I don't think a lot. Yeah, I agree too, and I don't think a lot of these players, except Kelsey and Leo, really understand, and Wesley understand the concept of voting. You still have people like Treasure who are like, "Oh, I like this person," and I'm like, "Oh my god."
She's figuring it out, though. She is. It's slow. But she's getting there. I mean, in some of her confessionals, she's really starting to put it together. She's not there yet, but she's starting to understand the rating system, and I think that only gets better as the game goes along.
Or rather, I think Treasure maybe understands the rating system, but I think she's just trying to be too honest and be real. And I think that you're not in a game with real people, so you got to stoop to their level. So
True.
Petty.
We'll touch upon Leo next. If Leo gets out of the void, what should his first thing be?
He's got to suck up to Lils big time. Maybe distance himself from Kelsey.
I think he needs to just shut the fuck up sometimes. Just like, Leo, everything you're going to say, just like be quiet for like 50% of that amount of time.
He was kind of quiet in the non-threat group, so maybe he already figured that out. We'll see.
Yep.
I feel like he has been trying to figure out when to be quiet and when not to be quiet around certain people, and that is exactly what he needs to do. Because there's people he can be himself with, but there's other people that if he's this loud talking all the time, they see it as he needs to go.
Yep.
The last one would be Brooklyn. If Brooklyn gets out of the void, what does she need to do, Q?
I'm trying to think of there was no valid thing that got Brooklyn into the void, if we're being honest. It was a coin toss between Adam and to quote Wesley, guess it's Brooklyn. So I think Brooklyn really doesn't need to do much. I think Brooklyn is in everybody's good graces right now, and I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised to find out. I don't know if everyone knows. They're going to be surprised to find out that she is in the void. So
that's true. Flash was surprised when he found out.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started on Flash.
All right. The next thing we'll talk about is we touched upon Treasure earlier. In this episode, there was a tie in the votes for the middle pack. There was a tie in the people in this low group. So Treasure got to go in two groups because her grade was in the middle of everybody. So how do you think Treasure played that off, Days?
I think she did good. I mean, she was there to get information, and I think she got maybe not all the information that she wanted, but she did a good job of it. I think she didn't do a good job explaining the rating system. As I said, she's still trying to figure it out, but she's discussing it with other players, trying to get them to understand that something's not going right. Like Wesley or people are being phony, as Q would say. And she still got some stuff to figure out, but I overall think she did good. She's sociable when everybody's not talking over her. I think she's only going to get better from here. I don't see her being in any danger yet. I'm not sure how being in each chat or in each of the chat works. In the next episode, if she's in the not threats group, if that happens again and she's in two different groups, or for anybody, are they at risk of being sent to the void, or are they in the middle of the pack group? How does that work?
Well, that would only happen on the first day of a round when there's no safe group and there's no power players voting anybody out.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll say this. I mean, she didn't do herself any harm in either of those chats.
Q?
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's a good metaphor for Treasure's personality in this game, which is that she can kind of be wherever she needs to be. But I do think she needs to just be definitive, like, who am I? How am I going to play this game? Because if she keeps kind of, going with the flow, I see her falling through the cracks. So she really needs to become a power player because she can be one. But yeah.
I'd agree with that. Dig your heels in and make your point. Have an opinion on something, stick with it, and let it be known.
I thought she really gave a good opinion in the middle chat with Lils and Alex about knowing when to speak, right? Basically, is what she was talking about.
Which was an ironic theme for that chat because Lils did not need to speak as much as she did.
And that's a good segue because that's what I wanted to talk about next, with Lils talking to Alex about what she thought about Alex.
Does that mean?
I honestly don't remember the.
Oh my goodness!
Remember the conversation.
Basically, Lils was doing this whole thing, which I understand and I can relate with, where she's like, you don't have to go and hear anything about what I've said about you from other players because I'll tell you to your face. And she was like Alex, I said about you that I don't really know about you. I can't figure you out, right? That's what she said, something to the effect of Alex is kind of shady.
It was when she first met Alex, she felt like Alex was gonna like the vibe Alex was giving up that she was gonna like fry everybody up or something to that effect.
Which actually is true, right? Alex was giving off this, hard persona and it wasn't what it cracked up to be. But my thing is like, Lils, no one is like going around and telling Alex what you said about her. So like sometimes she just takes the whole I'm real, I'll tell you to your face too far to her own detriment. And it's just like, girl, you don't have to say all that. So
do you think that conversation will cost her?
Absolutely. Alex is petty like Delion. She's going to start voting her some ones. Absolutely.
I think she shot herself in the foot like Wesley did with Adam.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And again, I don't remember the entire conversation, but I had a bad feeling about it. That's what I remember feeling. And nothing good came of that conversation. It shouldn't have been had on Lil's part.
The other thing
she could have at least... Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, she could have at least like softened it and be like, but now, I've come around and I've really gotten to know you. But she just was like, yeah, I don't really know about you. And just kind of left it there. And Alex just was not feeling that at all. So.
The other thing she said about Alex was that Alex was playing it safe. Is that what Alex is doing?
I think she's just kind of sitting back, like just riding the middle, You know, not making a lot of waves. She hasn't really been in danger, hasn't really been in power. She's in kind of a safe spot right now. There's no need to rock the boat. So Alex just needs to keep doing what she's doing. I'm hoping that she doesn't act too strongly on the conversation that was had with Lils, because again, nothing can come good of that. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're in a good spot.
I disagree with that. I think now is the time to shit or get off the pot for Alex, because she's already kind of made some bad blood with the Flash, and the Flash is kind of gaslighting her about how she didn't go around and tell her strategy. And so I think Alex really needs to do her best to get in a power player position, because I'm telling you, the minute she's in the bottom, I think she's gone. Because there's no real reason or incentive to keep her, because who is she? You know, I don't think she's just really made her personality known like that.
My thing with it is, and maybe this is what Lils and Wesley are trying to do, just trying to poke the bear a little bit so that these other players, you know, get aggravated and, you know, just show a side that they haven't shown yet and put a target on them. So by acting on it, that could put a target on Alex's back by feeding into it. So it's a tricky situation. I mean, definitely try to get into the power group, but again, that right now that comes down to playing the rating game properly. So,
but I do think Alex is one of those players. Like, if she goes into the void, I feel like she could do a lot of damage in the void. So I'm not really sad to see her get voted off, because I think she can really play a better game in the void. So.
Well, do you guys want to talk about the ratings at all? I feel like somebody said they wanted to at one point.
It's, for me, it's the rating system. There is a strategy to it. So if you were in danger, so like Kelsey, Lindsay, and Treasure right now, their strategy needs to be vote themselves all fives and vote everybody else across the board as a 1. You want to get everybody else a score to drop and yours to raise, so that you can get at least to the safe group. That should be your only strategy when you're in danger of going to the void.
Yes, that is the strategy that Leo, Dee, and Kelsey implemented, and it worked kinda.
I was just going to say, I think Kelsey, if you go back and you rewatch that, this is why I said Kelsey is strategic, but she's sneaky. Because Kelsey kind of planted that seed, and then Lindsay watered it and watched it grow. Because Kelsey was like, yeah, so maybe we should do something so that we don't end up back down here. And then Lindsay was like, I know, maybe we'll all vote each other high and everybody else low. So Kelsey kind of, go back and rewatch that scene. That is exactly how it happened.
I will, but you brought up Lindsay, and I don't think Lindsay still has any idea what's going on in this game.
No, Lindsay did say that. Lindsay said it was like Kelsey planted, well, Kelsey had to plant the seed, so there you go. But Lindsay was the one that said, oh yeah, like that's a good idea. Like, yeah, we vote everybody high and everybody else goes low. So I think Kelsey knows how to play this game and how to do the numbers.
But
everybody
that didn't transfer to when Lindsay got up to like to the power players. In her confessional, she said that she sees Wesley as a threat. If they are actually your threat, why are you rating them a 5? Rate them lower, so they are not in the power player position that could possibly take you out. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean by these folks really aren't understanding.
Yeah, I think that goes with wanting to like grade from the heart or something.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I agree. If somebody's a threat, give them a 1.
It's kind of counterintuitive. Like it's hard to explain for me, but that's I think logically on these things, I can't really get emotional about it. So that's just, I don't understand why they're not seeing that. If they're a threat, don't actually vote them a 5 as a threat. Vote them a 1, get them down to the not safe group so that you can get them out of the game before they take you out. I don't know.
Well, what if, let's give Lindsay some credit now. What if Lindsay is using someone like Wesley as a shield?
Good point. Good point. She's playing with fire right now, if that's the case, because if the rating doesn't go her way, she could be potentially in the void in the next episode.
That's true.
So I'm not sure if having a meat shield in this kind of game is necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, especially if that shield is the one who's calling the shots and literally determining who goes home.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Touching upon that bottom group with Lindsay, Kelsey, and Treasure in the middle between groups, let's play a little game. Where do you think they will end up in this next episode after these new votes?
Let's start with Kelsey. Wait, did you say middle or
Lower, Kelsey.
Kelsey,
Can we
Lindsay,
know
and
who's
Treasure?
in potential power players, though? Can you tell us that?
It was Adam, Wesley, D, and Flash.
Mhm.
Oh, I gotta write this shit down. I forget. Adam, Wesley, D, and Flash. Okay.
Right, and then in danger is Kelsey, Lindsay, and Treasure. And then in the middle is Lil's, Treasure,
Alex.
And Deleon, but he was in the air at the time.
So I'm going to start with Kelsey. We've talked about this already. She kind of understands the rating system. I think she'll be in the middle of the pack, in the safe group next time around. I think she's going to get herself out of there. I think all three girls vote themselves fives. It really depends. I still don't completely understand who votes or who rates who, but I can see
they will be rating everybody this time.
They will be rating everybody. So, with the exception of Lil's, I don't think Kelsey gets a lot of low votes, so I see her being in the middle. Who knows? Maybe she jumps to the damn power group again. Yeah. I don't think she'll be in danger come next episode.
Did we ever actually see their votes to see if they followed through, or have we not? Has that not been revealed yet?
I don't think that happened yet.
And have we seen their averages?
No.
Okay. We just know Treasure had the best average out of the three of them. I will agree. Kelsey could be middle of the pack or a potential power player. I will agree with that. Well, actually, no, because she doesn't have Leo anymore. Leo's in the void. She really only has D, and she has the Flash.
But who's really coming after her other than Lil's? I mean, Lil's, if she votes the way I think she will, she would put Kelsey at a 1, but everybody else could give her a 3, 4, 5. So
would
that puts
Would Wesley?
He did give her a 1 the night before, I think.
For her decision making. So she's already got a 1 that we know of. There you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So potentially 2 1s out of 11 players. So I still see middle of the pack there.
I'm changing. I'm gonna say middle of the pack, and just based off of like averages and numbers, she's gonna be middle of the pack or in the bottom. There's no way she's recovering from those ones. I don't see.
And do you think her ratings will be strategic?
Yes.
Her ratings are always strategic. Yes.
What about Lindsay?
I'll go. Lindsay will be in the bottom.
Yeah, I think she'll be in the bottom, but I'm not necessarily sure that she would be the target to be sent to the void. She's not a threat. There's no point in taking her out. So regardless of what her scores end up being, even if she is in the non-threats group, I don't think it matters.
Well, if she's in the non-threats group and Wesley's a power player, I think Wesley's going to be mad because now Wesley knows that Lindsay and Adam are together. So,
yeah, well, the ratings are going to be interesting. I kind of have a feeling that the non-threats group could be like Adam, Lindsay, and somebody else. And if that's the case,
poor Adam.
Yeah, if that's the case, Lindsay will stay over Adam. I think honestly, right now, I think Lindsay stays over anybody that's in the non-threat group.
Is she the ultimate non-threat?
Yeah, as I'll quote her. What I write down. I'm slow, and I'm sure everybody else can see that. Can see that too. So I
You know
mean,
what? I'm not buying that shit because she said in the Instagram comments that her moon's in Scorpio, and I'm like, bitch, you
yeah.
ain't slow. You ain't
No,
slow, okay?
I did notice her taking notes when they were discussing like the ratings. When she was talking with Treasure, like she was writing stuff down. So she's trying to figure it out. But I think from a game perspective right now, she's not a threat. There's no reason to take her out. She's somebody you could take to the end and could probably still beat.
So what about Treasure, who was between two ties? Does she fall? Does she make it to the middle group, or does she make it to power player?
Q, you
I
take
think-
that one first.
I think Treasure will be in the bottom because I think she might be in the same situation as Alex, where I don't think people have enough of a strong feeling about her. Also, the Flash has this weird thing with Treasure where like he doesn't really give her good votes, and I don't feel like she has enough people to vouch for her. How does Dee feel about Treasure? How does Wesley feel about Treasure? How does Adam feel about Treasure? I don't know. So I feel like she's just, who is she to the rest of the cast? And I feel like she will be in the bottom.
Is when determining the groups, it's based on the number. What, like, where's the breakdown? Is it like 2 and below is
There's
in the
really no
bottom?
breakdown like that. When it comes to the actual power players, safe and not safe, it's just who's ever usually the top 3 power players, unless there's a tie, and then it's 4 bottom usually, and if they're voting 2 people out, and then whoever else is in the middle.
I mean, if everybody votes her a 3, just middle of the line, I mean, I think there could potentially be 2 or 3 people below that. So I see her in the safe group in the next episode. If she happens to be in danger or in the non-threats group, I don't think she would go.
She needs to be in a power. She needs to assertively be a power player and
I agree.
just make a mark already. Because she's
Yeah.
got the ability and she's got a great social game. She just needs to use it and like make an impact.
Has she mentioned anything about Flash yet? Have I missed that? Because Flash obviously has an opinion about her, but then again, his ratings have been all over the place. Like, I have no idea what his criteria is necessarily for rating folks. So, but
I think he goes off his gut as well. He just kind of I don't really like Treasure. I don't know. That's how it's very the Flash. he's very vibes.
With Treasure being into your groups, do you think that helps or hurts in the ratings? Since she's getting to talk to more people, do you think that makes her more fresh in more people's minds for voting for everybody?
She only told the middle group that she was in both chats, right?
She didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, she didn't tell anyone.
I thought she told Kelsey and Lindsay that she was in 2 groups. Then it can't hurt her. If nobody knows that she was in 2 groups, I mean, how can they? I mean, if nobody knows, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and to be honest, the Treasure actually could be a power player because I think Lils really likes Treasure. I think she's just like, yeah, Treasure's young. I like her. And then I think Alex probably likes her. I think Kelsey and Lindsay are going to follow through with the plan. So yeah, if Treasure's right on the cusp, then she might actually bump up to power player, which would be good for her.
Yeah, I could see that.
We'll touch upon Lils next. She was first time falling from the top to the middle. Is Alex going to help her fall more, do you think, or where do you think she ends up?
I mean, I gotta think by now that everybody sees her as a major threat, sees Lils as a threat. So I want to see her in the bottom group, but I just don't see it happening. She has a mist over people, and I don't get it. I don't understand why people are buying into the bullshit. That's all I got.
Q.
I don't get it.
I do agree that people just aren't gonna. I don't know if it's an integrity thing. I don't know if she pulls kind of the like Dee said, the first grade teacher just kind of guilt, but like people just do not vote Lil's low other than Adam because I think he hates her and.
Adam hasn't met her, so Adam can't vote for her yet.
Oh, then who hates Lil's? Oh, Alex. I think Alex is gonna do it. Yeah. Well, then there we go. I think Alex is probably gonna just vote her low, but I think everyone else.
What were the votes? So in the power players group with Lils Wesley, Kelsey, and Lindsay, who gave her a low score that ended up making her into the middle group? Do we remember the scores on that?
Are you sure she hasn't met Adam?
No, she hasn't. Adam talks about her because he's heard it from other people.
He called
so
her a
he thinks he's a
sociopath.
psychopath. And a sociopath.
Yeah, no.
But he hasn't met her.
Sociopath. Oh, okay. Well, so then Adam doesn't vote on her?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I knew I didn't make that whole Adam Lil's thing up. Okay, so Adam hasn't voted on her, but Adam. Got it.
Yeah.
He will vote on her this time, though.
No.
Right?
It won't.
He
They
still
can only
hasn't
vote for
met
the
her.
people they know.
I
I didn't
thought
put
you
in the
said everybody
episodes because it would be too confusing for people if I put in the episodes. But they had a rule that if you haven't met him, you can't actually vote for him.
Oh, okay. So back to my question. Out of Lils Wesley, Kelsey, and Lindsay, what do you remember the scores on that? Did Wesley
It's probably
vote?
Lindsay. It's probably
I
Lindsay.
feel like I don't know.
Wesley gave her a 4.
It wasn't Wesley. It had to be
Right.
either
It was
Lindsay or
Lindsay,
Kelsey.
I think. It was probably both of them. Shit.
I don't think she got like a low score, but I think it was like a 3 and a 2 or something.
Well, it was low enough to move her down a group.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess those are, the two people she has to look out for. And I don't know, Q, you kind of think that she's still protecting Kelsey and Lindsay. So,
I think she is, but I think maybe they're kind of onto her. But I don't think that she'll be. I don't see her in the bottom. I
well,
don't see her.
Lindsay is definitely onto her because she called her a fake psychic or fake fortune teller or whatever it was.
Well, she also said that she doesn't trust this whole protecting thing anymore because
Yeah.
she fell from the top to the bottom. Next up is Alex. Does she stay in the middle once again?
Probably.
It depends on how she reacts to that conversation. Again, for me personally, I think overreacting to it and making a spectacle out of it does her no good at all. I would rather see her be quiet about it and just, let the other folks come after Lils. Don't take the bait. And I think that's what Lils is trying to do to Alex.
I just don't even know whose radar she would be on other than the flashes.
That's all that's on Flash's radar.
I just don't get who would vote her. Oh, but you know what? Dee has this weird thing with Alex as well.
Yeah, didn't they get compared to each other? Somebody compared them, or Alex said that she
compared them.
Okay.
Alex said she liked me. Mm-hmm.
And Flash
you met me, you met her. The Flash froze. He was like,
Which I don't see any similarities between the two. Like they are two completely different people.
I agree with that.
Maybe that was just Alex trying to butter Dee up or something. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think Alex would have compared Dee to herself if she didn't like Dee. So I think that it's weird that Dee has something against Alex, but it's
I think what happened was
come back. I'm losing connection.
Uh-oh. What happened was that what was the question? Dee.
You're explaining the rift between Dee and Alex. Are you gonna wait 3 days?
No, I don't know if he's still here.
Oh, ruh-roh.
Oh, he's on a new device.
Don't know what
There
is
he
up
is.
with that. I got
I was
full bars, everything.
The internet's been kind of annoying lately in general. But I was gonna say, I think what happened was is when D was in that group of 6, when Wesley was talking about how he was going after Lils, D fell to the bottom, so she was trying to figure out who voted her low, and she thought maybe it was Alex or Keon or Wesley.
Who was it in actuality?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't really know.
Because I don't see why
I mean-
any of the 4 people you named would do that to her. So
I
Yeah.
mean,
that's
could it have been Brooklyn or Leonard? Because Dee Dee shot up to the power group from the bottom. So without, hell,
Well, I was
don't
talking
know.
I was talking about the time before, and that's how Alex and Dee Dee riffed.
Oh, okay.
at least from Dee Dee's end. That's
Yeah.
why there was that. Well, I think Dee Dee. Well, I think Dee Dee probably could rate Alex low. I know the Flash will rate her low. Lils will probably rate her low. Alex is
Then
going to be
that
in the
could
middle or in the
possibly put her
bottom.
in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, now
And
that you
honestly-
say that, I could see her being in the non-threats group.
Have you noticed that Delion and Alex, like, even though those two seem to always be together, they never give each other 5s. They never really give each other 4s either. It's always like 3. Which I find interesting because they're the most similar to me in my like view of them, and they never explicitly like vouch for each other.
Well, we might as well
Yeah.
talk about Deleon next because he was also in this group. He just couldn't make it. Do you think that will hurt him for not making it? But he was in a group with Lils and Treasure who like him and Alex.
Yeah, I mean, if
Who's
I was
gonna
on
give
the
him a
game
3?
show, it would. If I was on the game show, I'd vote him a 1 just for not being there.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to hurt him. I think he's in a good spot. He can ride the middle of the pack until the end.
He is very middle of the pack right now. He's kind of like, ooh, I don't know if he's like Treasure though, because I feel like Treasure has the ability to be liked in every group that she goes in, and I don't know that he has that likability that Treasure has.
I disagree. I
So
think
you
he's.
I think it's a
I think
different
his-
Alec ability.
Yeah, his social game to me right now is really good. He's been at the top. He's been in the middle. I don't think he's been in the bottom.
And you,
So,
yeah,
I mean, he's playing a good game. I mean, he talks to everybody. I think he's likable. I mean, I think everybody else thinks he's likable, or else he would have already been in the bottom by now.
The final 4 were the power players in this past round. We'll start with Adam, who made it to the top. Will he stay
started
there?
from
Will
the
he
bottom,
fall?
now we're here.
Yeah, for sure.
I
thought
like.
he- Go ahead. Go ahead.
I like where he's at. I wrote down that his social game is underrated, and he has a chance to win. The Wesley thing is going to be a roadblock. That's fixing to be. There's going to be some confrontation there, but I think he's doing good. I mean, he started at the bottom. He's moving up, and I think his social game is what's getting there. Now that he's not, in the car and at work or whatnot, now that he's focused on the game, I like what he's doing.
I'm just so confused as to how he even got to be a power player. Like, who's writing for? I know Dee gave him a 5.
Well, that's
and I was
all
like,
that
where
needed.
did that come from?
Because they both gave each other 5s. That's why they both got to the top.
Why did they make some agreement that I missed? I just really was baffled by why she did that. Was there some agreement that she didn't put in?
I think there was.
Oh, okay. So okay. That
Oh, yeah,
makes a little more sense.
Because Brooklyn and Leonard went to the void, so Adam and Dee's vote 5s. I mean, yeah, that's all that mattered. So yeah.
Oh, because it was just those votes that. Wow. Okay, so that's just really literally playing the system.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good for him.
So now that he's in that power group, he needs to stay there. If he doesn't want, he was close to going home or going to the void. So I mean, just stay in that power group or in that middle road. He's got a chance to win. He can't risk going back down there again because Wesley will take him out.
We might as well talk about Wesley next, who has made himself a power player. Does he stay there?
Talks too much.
Yeah, I agree. And the ego is big with that one. The ego is big. Again, I think what comes of the Wesley Adam thing is gonna decide where each of them end up. But right now, I don't see Wesley dropping. I don't know how he's doing it, but
has it come out that? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was it.
Has it come out that he didn't confront Lils? Did that come out to the group?
Yeah.
Wesley's dropping.
Kinda. It did, but it didn't, because I don't remember who it was. I think it was DeLeon and Alex asking Flash and Treasure about when they were in the same group together because they thought it would be drama, and it wasn't. So they did learn that it was. So maybe you're right, actually. I don't know.
Didn't Treasure mention? Yeah. She mentioned something about that.
Yeah. I think if DeLeon and Alex got a hold of it, he's going down. I think his votings are going to go. I think he's going to drop. He's either going to be middle of the pack or bottom.
I'll say this: I don't think he's going to win. I think he's creating enemies, and nothing good is going to come of that. He's only going to drop, especially once people realize how he's gaming the rating system.
What about Flash, who was shocked to learn about Brooklyn being sent to the void? And he kind of blamed Wesley for that, actually, in his confessional.
That made no sense because he planned that. He said he wanted to pull back and see how it affected his ratings. And when it adversely affected his ratings, he acted surprised. And it was like, but you knew that was going to happen. So I was very confused. I think he'll either be middle of the pack, though, or power player. I don't see him making it to the bottom.
Yeah, I'm the same. He's going to be in the top or in that middle. I'm not sure if Flash knows where he's at or what he's doing, but just his likability as a person is keeping him up there. I don't think there's any real strategy, although he said he had a strategy, and it kind of showed when he dropped down a bit in the ratings. But other than that, I mean, I don't know if he knows what game he's playing.
Did you peep how Lils called him out instantly, saying that, I think it was absolutely Flash's plan to drop, and how he was trying to be quiet. And Wesley peeped it too.
Yeah.
Wesley said that Flash was quiet because he was trying to study him like a high schooler studying for their SAT or some shit.
Yeah, those two they're giving so much more information out in their confessional, so it's definitely, they're playing roles right now. So I think that's smart with them, and they know a lot more than they're letting on to the other groups. But again, it goes back to their confrontations with Adam and Alex respectively, that might have cost them the game. So it was a misstep.
Lastly is D. Will she be able to stay at the top after going from the bottom to the top?
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote down Dee may win this game. I think she's in a good position. Even when she's been in the bottom, she hasn't really been at risk of being sent to the void. So I think she was just a victim of ratings that didn't quite work out. But even if she gets to that bottom level, she's not going anywhere. And again, I think she could win this game.
I think she's got, looking at the chart, I think she's got Adam, who would vote her well. Wesley would vote her well. Lils would vote her well. I think Alex and DeLeon would give her decent to good ratings. Kelsey would vote her well, and Treasure would vote her well. And I don't think Lindsay knows her, or the Flash. I don't think either of them know Dee.
She has no enemies.
None
at all. She is probably in the best position in this game right now.
Yeah. Followed by Treasure, but I still don't think Treasure will get it together enough to win.
Treasure has some work to do, but she's in a good spot.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have, unless there's more notes of yours, Days, that you wanted to talk about something else.
No, I think that's it. I'm ready for the next episode. There's some storylines that I want to see play out for sure.
Yeah, they are building up.
But this was just an assessment of the players in this game as it stands to episode 4.
Correct.
Throwing that out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thank you both for joining me. I probably will try and have guests on this next couple episodes since they're very dramatic episodes. I'm not sure who yet, but I'll try and reach out to people and see.
Hey, I know people are watching because they're starting to comment pretty heavily on Instagram and YouTube. So there's a couple folks I'd like to see in here to explain what in the hell they are actually doing in this game.